Hello guys, B-Dog and building F86 again, and we're going to talk about the two-piece fuselage we're building right now because I am actually starting this, and I found a couple things you got to really look for, and that is the relationship of these parts. Now, this one I went ahead and glued on already because, like I said, I'm doing certain things off camera so I can sit there and figure them out and then transfer the information back to you, what I do find out. One thing I did notice is it's very important that you see where this piece which is going to replace one entire bulkhead, you gotta look and be very careful where it is. Now, I'm going to show you something. If you face it this way, guess what? It doesn't look bad, but guess what? It doesn't fit. You got to look at some things here. So, anyway, what I'm doing here is I'm showing you guys that if you don't look at what's going on with this, then you're going to have some issues of where that actual part is going to fit. Because this piece is the original piece that actually fit into where your frame for your cockpit goes. It has to remain up front. That's where it locks in. This piece, if it's not set up right, guess what? It won't fit. And you're going to notice up here that these do not fit. Now, there is something that you can do for this, and you just flip this over, and what I'm showing you now is that once you face it the right and correct way, everything lines up beautifully. Everything fits up perfectly. So make sure that you get it, and I usually mark it. Now, another thing that I'm doing here is this gets bolted together, but there's also some guides. There's two big 3/8 pins that go in here, and you got to make those. And you just get a piece of dowel and do that. And I can show you how I do that. But, you know, I'm sure a lot of you guys understand where you're at on this thing. Now, if you look back here, this is where that remaining stringer is going to be. You're going to have to cut that. There's also a motor mount piece that goes in here, but guess what? The mouth of it right there, you're going to cut straight across it, across the motor mounts to go into here, and you do want them. I'm going to tell you why. Because it's going to add some more strength in this whole area when it's in, and you're also going to need an area to bolt your exhaust pipe down to, and that will be done off the rear. So we're going to go ahead and make this assembly, and then I'm going to bolt it together. And I'm using some stainless steel screws and blind nuts to do that. Now, I'll show you exactly where I'm at on this here real quick. Now, another thing that I want to bring up is that when you use these blind nuts, guys, make sure that you get them. You got to drive them in, just tap them in with a hammer, but you want to make sure that that nut is exactly the size of that hole and a tight fit, and just drive it in there. You're not going to hurt anything doing that. When you get done with that particular deal, it should come out looking like this. And you want them a little bit long, and you want them to go all the way through. Now, these are industrial type. I buy them. Yes, that's glued in, and it's just basically some epoxy that's mixed up and put on. And I put it in there. You're not going to see this part, but when it does go in, once that sits down like so, it will actually, with that gene a little bit longer, there's no chance of that getting out of alignment. It's actually there without any glue. And that's what you want. right there. And then you just glue that down with some whatever carpenter's glue you're using. I'm using Gorilla Glue because I like it. And once that's done, then this piece and the pins and all that stuff can be installed and made, and this assembly will be done. Nothing hard about this. It's just taking your time and figuring it out. You're going to have to do a little bit of homework with it, but it's so cool. So make sure that you got this, and make sure these holes and everything are lined up. And I showed you this because if you build this backwards and you put all these parts on this side of this thing, and you put it that way, it is not going to work. They are not the same. So just be forewarned, guys. Not a big deal. Very simple and easy thing to accomplish. Once it's done, then you have your first assembly done for your two-piece. And I kind of recommend doing them that way, but some of you guys will want the one-piece fuselage, and that's fine. There's no, with the way it's designed and the way it's built, there's no weakening of the fuselage anywhere to be found on that. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching.